Hey guys, welcome back to AZ Trimester. It occurred to me that I had done something to the Slim some time ago that was a pretty significant change that it warranted sharing with you guys, but I ended up trading that in, getting this fat bob before I had a chance to talk about it with you. But I still can kind of share it with you. I have a couple pictures of the mod that I did, but the credit really goes to another YouTuber whom I'll share with you shortly, and then provide a link to the specific video that I'm referring to in the description of this video. But the way this all started was I was working, and an awesome customer, Dean Speed, came up. I think just to kind of shoot the shit, show us his bike. He has a Softail standard, and I noticed he had the externally vented air cleaner to I believe it was a catch can or maybe a breather filter, but nonetheless it was vented, and I was interested in it. He started talking about it, and the first time you hear something, you just kind of you hear the information. Maybe it doesn't necessarily resonate with you right away, but you certainly hear it. He's talking about excessive crankcase pressure and the oil pump being subpar, and this and that, and so I said, hey, send me the information, the link to that external breather and this setup you have, because I wanted to look into it. And really what that did is that set off something that just spiraled outward and grew and grew and grew. So essentially, when I started looking into the product, the specific product, and I found that company's external breather, and then looked at other kits, and then looked on YouTube, the more and more time I spent on it, the more and more information I found about the need to offer some external breathing for the Milwaukee 8. Now ultimately, and what partially led to my trading in the Slim, was my learning that the 2018-2019 Milwaukee 8 motors, depending upon what specific month they were made, 2019, because you just call it 2020 and newer, have an updated oil pump. But the previous one was problematic, not getting enough oil to some places and getting too much oil to other places. So to go hand in hand with the information on YouTube from different YouTubers, some technicians, maybe some guys working for smaller Harley dealerships sharing this information, there was a lot of concern expressed about the excessive crankcase pressure with the Milwaukee 8 engine. And while some guys went right to the externally vented air filter, some guys were trying things like vented dipsticks and vented tranny top covers. And there's companies that make these products. Trask is one of them for the vented, the tranny top cover. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head the Dipstick who offers those, but I came across a channel, this is the one I was talking about, called Ron's Workshop. And like I said, there'll be a link to his channel or the specific video, which will essentially lead you to his channel, in the description of this video, because he deserves all the credit for this. This particular gentleman, Ron, that is, does a great deal of testing of different products, and even finds DIY methods to achieve the same, sometimes even better results than what's on the marketplace for these particular situations. And of course, me searching for vented air filter setups, externally vented air filter setups, I come across his channel, I watch his video. He was doing this vented air cleaner thing after he had done the vented dipstick setup, and that particular thing failed because under acceleration the oil moves towards the back of the motor, goes up into the hole that's in the dipstick, fills the line, saturates the filter, boom, mess. Makes sense. And I found other videos to concur with that. And so where he was at was testing this vented air cleaner. And with the vented air cleaner, he then, looking at Trask's vented tranny top cover, concluded that he could make his own. He did so and ran that with the externally vented air cleaner. And some of the things that he found, and you all out there, I encourage you to test this. Take off if you don't have any external venting, take off your air cleaner, look at the crankcase bolts, look at the vent hoses that run the oil back into the air cleaner, and look at your throttle body. You will undoubtedly find a decent amount of oil accumulating in those three areas, and you can summarize that, since that throttle body is sucking air in, it's sucking in moist, oily air, because that's where your M8 is venting the pressure. And there's reasons for that, and I do not fault Harley one bit for it, because they're essentially required to do it. So it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it happens, and you may hear about it more on some bikes than others, because each of these motorcycle companies have to comply to these standards, so they find their own ways to do it. But after this particular gentleman, Ron, found after testing many different things, is that the best setup is to have the motor under constant vacuum, but to still vent it. So the way he did that was, and again, I encourage you to go to his channel and look at the results, because they are, they're really awesome results, but they're very compelling results. He found that the best way to do that was to reestablish the vacuum on the air cleaner, so using the factory bolts, or if you have an aftermarket air cleaner that vents back in to the throttle body, to keep that setup, and then vent the tranny top cover. I reached out to him through the comments on that video, because he did a breakdown on the DIY aspect of it, and in his description of the video included all of the components he purchased. So I reached out and said, what do you recommend here? Because there's like a half-inch on this one, or some various options. And he responded. He's an awesome gentleman, and in total I spent $35 on the parts to do it myself, and it took maybe a few hours, just because of the awkward position that the tranny top cover is in, which is, I'll show you right now. Okay, so let's see if we can get it. You see this cover right here? That's your tranny top cover. Now I've got this huge preload adjuster for my rear shock that's in the way, but on my Slim I didn't have that, or this sensor here either. So I had, to say easy access is an overstatement, but I was able to get to it and get it off. Let's take a look from the other side here. Yeah, right there. There it is. And so I followed his instructions to a T. Did it exactly as he had it, and ran it. And so here's the hard part about this, because there's so many different opinions about this particular subject. If the crankcase pressure is a problem or not a problem, should you do something about it, should you not do something about it, and then all the stuff about warranty and this and that, and it's just exhausting. So I'll share with you my findings. You know how sometimes maybe you did a mod on a car you had in the past, or a motorcycle, and it was something very small, and it had some promise on it, like 5 or 10 horsepower or something, and you get on the bike, you get in your car, and you're like, yeah, I think it's faster, like that guy. And really deep down, if you kind of really ask yourself, you're kind of like, I don't really notice the difference. Maybe it's faster, maybe it's not, I don't know. It's not like that. So on the Slim, I had an Arlen Ness Stage 1 Big Sucker. I had slip-on mufflers that were straight through, nothing hindering the flow of the exhaust straight out. I had a Screaming Eagle Pro Street tuner with the Smart Tune done, so it was optimal. Sure, it could have been better if it was on a dyno, but it was the best with street dynoing, we'll call it. And then I did the vented tranny top cover. And there was far less residue being directed into my throttle body from that point going forward. And as far as the seat dyno goes, as far as like what are the results, I absolutely noticed a smoother rev through the RPM range, and it did absolutely feel a little more peppy. Now, I didn't do it for the power gains, if there is any even. I did it for efficiency and a little peace of mind because my bike had the older oil pump. And still, that's something that should be addressed if you have a 2018 or 2019 model. And now I have a 21, I don't have to worry about it. But I can tell you definitively I will do the same mod, the vented tranny top cover, on this Fat Bob right here. Absolutely. So, again, check the description, grab the link, go to Ron's channel, watch his stuff. He's so impartial that it's just it's easy to watch because you don't feel like you're getting bribed one way or another by the information. It's very, very impartial, and like I said, he tests everything and has results, actual results. So I found it very useful. And again, compelling enough to do my own vented tranny top cover, which I did, and I was very happy with the results, and I will do it again. And hopefully when I do it, I'll be able to walk you guys through that a little bit more. But I didn't want to steal Ron's thunder because he's really the guy that gets all the credit on this one. So I hope this is helpful. Just kind of been pondering on it, and I thought maybe some of you don't know this. Maybe you've heard it and just, dismissed it. And hey, if you don't do anything with it, enjoy your motorcycle. It's still going to be fun. It's still going to run. It's still going to give you thrills. You don't have to do this thing to make those things more attainable. It's already there. So just enjoy your motorcycles. If you have any questions on this stuff, feel free to ask me. But the guy that's going to have the more technical answers is going to be Ron. So hit him up, watch his videos, maybe even subscribe to his channel. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. As far as that goes, I'd appreciate a subscription. But it's not the end of the world if you don't. I would like you guys to hit the like button. That'd be kind of cool. But other than all that, it's been a pleasure sharing this with you guys. I hope you all are enjoying the riding weather, if your riding season's coming to an end or if it's just starting like us here in Arizona. Just do your best to stay safe out there. See you guys.